Finally, it's done. It's finished. It's over. 2 years of research for a 22,000-word dissertation concerning fan theories. It almost makes you want to never look at another fan theory again, but here we are today to disassemble 4 more. This is a series where I scour the internet for the dumbest, loudest, and bravest fan theories out there. It's multi-series, but stick around, because trust me, some of these are so experimental and fun, and some of them genuinely impressive. I see fan theories as writing. They're a mix of speculative, fan-made time, and fanfic. Now, if fanfiction is deemed a feminine fandom activity, trying to predict what happens with theories is a much more masculine one. And sometimes, yes, it's just recognizing patterns in narrative storytelling, displaying a dedication for the brand. But sometimes, fans can reassemble a bunch of media materials into something completely new. A brand new idea. The idea is creative, postmodern, and artistic as hell. Let's get to it. What series do we have today? What's that, Sam? A cynical name drop to direct the new Doctor Who traffic? No. Okay, maybe a little bit, but that's okay. We're not exactly making money off of this. Doctor Who is rampant with fan theories, as any series would, approaching its 56th year. 56? I don't know, my math is bad. Anyway, the point is, Matt Smith's tenure. An often overlooked characteristic of the 11th Doctor is how goddamn long this guy lived. Let's say the 3rd Doctor lived about 3 years. That 9 only had about 2 years of his life before he regenerated, and David Tennant didn't have much more either. These regenerations had exceedingly short lifespans. Which is interesting when Stephen Moffat confirms 11 is over 1,000 years old. Meaning, he has been this Doctor for the majority of his life. Yeah, you'll never unsee that. These centuries of uncatalogued, off-screen adventures has actually not really been done justice. It's likely licensing issues, but there's very few 11 stories that aren't TV adventures. Point is, 11th Doctor has wisdom beyond his years. In the latter half of his run, he actually seemed to not have any stable companions. 11 journeyed around the universe largely by himself, with only a couple of side companions along the way. That's a lot of time, alone, for one man. Pond life shows that his life still does revolve around the ponds even when he is away from them. How long were the ponds gone? This fan theory posits that Series 7, Part A, the Amy and Rory stuff, does not happen chronologically. I'm sure everybody remembers the heartbreak of The Angels Take Manhattan. Amy and Rory were actual favourites of mine. And the episode ends with them shut off in a fractured New York that the Doctor can never return to. Moffat! Time travel, timey-wimey bullshit aside, many people have wondered, why doesn't the Doctor just go and visit them in a different part of their timeline? Amy and Rory are companions of the Doctor for over 10 years. To them, the Doctor probably shows up every other year. So if he misses them that badly, if he needs them that badly, why doesn't he just return to these moments in time? For times where they weren't in fractured 1930s New York. Why didn't he go back? Fan theory. Some fans have theorized that's exactly what he did. Power 3. Town Called Mercy. Dinosaurs on a spaceship and ending with Asylum of the Daleks. Hell, maybe even this moment from the Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe. Oh, I love this theory. It recontextualizes a lot of scenes in a really emotional way. Take this moment from Power of 3. It's just I miss you. Makes you think. Because otherwise, and this does become a pertinent question, what did 11 do by himself all of those centuries? In A Town Called Mercy, there's a throwaway reference to Rory leaving his phone in the past. In the next episode, we actually see him do it, indicating that the events we're being shown aren't quite in the right order. Pond life, again, shows the Doctor just sort of popping up and intervening at random parts during their marriage. What if, after their death at the hands of the Weeping Angels, the Doctor is travelling down their timeline to visit them whenever he can? It's romantic, it's tragic, I love it. But at the same time, would Eleven really feel comfortable travelling with Brian knowing what happens to his kid? I don't know. It's so vague and possible. Just for the mental exercise and creativity alone carried out here, I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. Even if it doesn't 100% add up, I'm impressed. But hey, Doctor Who fans are the smartest out there. Okay, fair enough. That bit was pandering. Next, let's fly over to the world of gaming. Weird, because I'm honest to God no gamer, but of the 4 games I do play, one of them is a franchise called Civilisation. This turn-based strategy game sees you taking control of a nation throughout all of their history and competing against others. Conquering, settling, trading, peace treaties. It's a mammoth game and one match can take about 3 days. But something I always found very charming and funny is the fact that the leaders of these countries do not change. We're talking about 800 BC to modern day. There's the Renaissance, the Medieval Age, the Industrial Revolutions, and yet Gandhi over here hasn't aged a day. Now this could be because Gandhi is a time immortal, an omnipresent god offering trade routes and research agreements. Fan theory, what if the Civilization series is the afterlife for great historical leaders? George Washington, Bismarck, Queen Elizabeth, Napoleon, to Genghis Khan. The gangs are all here, the gangs are all here. Time's champions have their own version of the afterlife, a heaven where they can battle each other forever until their heart's content. It's God's trophy match. This is definitely one of the more playful fan theories out there. Kind of odd, considering I don't go to the Civilization series for the story. It's the Holy Grail War. This is a last man standing battle royale match to settle the score. How? Not through cloning or identical children or metaphorical representation. No, there is some divine intervention at play here, and I am the god. I'm the one with the .exe file, and I can call the shots. I can destroy your whole little world. So yes, take that, leaders of all history. So is this theory correct? I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? When we die? Because we don't know what happens, do we? Who's to say? Maybe when you die, it's just Civ. Next. Gotta go back in time. I recently binge-watched all of Back to the Future, looking for the various conspiracies. Another series with time travel. I think we have a theme going today. And thus, any series with time travel or timelines lends itself to general jiggery-pokery. Avid fans can make a theory out of anything. Doc Brown kills Marty. Doc Brown is a Time Lord. Doc Brown fucked with the timelines and took away our hoverboards. Alright guys, calm down. There's something about science fiction that just makes people imagine, create, use their brains. Can you believe that? This specific theory is one that I think I actually subscribe to. In Back to the Future 2, Marty McFly dies. Or at least was intended to. In the final 20 minutes of pop culture masterpiece Back to the Future 2, Marty McFly is chasing down Biff on hoverboard to get back the sports almanac. It's film history. But what if history was changed? Remember, in the tunnel, Biff does try to kill Calvin Klein. And he almost got away with it too, if it wasn't for that Doc Brown and his meddling dog. Doc Brown kinda goes off the radar in the final climax of this movie. Missing from a good chunk of the finale, Doc Brown shows up in the nick of time, the second where Marty needs a ladder. Why does Doc Brown sentence himself off to the Wild West? Well, this theory posits that Marty McFly died in the original timeline. Much like when Marty saved Doc in the first film, it's thought that Emmett messes with time, risks the paradox, and saves his friend anyway. Appearing to save the day, which he wasn't previously there for. At the horror, at the guilt of seeing his closest companion dead, Doc Brown is struck by lightning and goes to live out solitude in the old Wild West. Personally, I like it, but I think it's a bit too dark for Zemeckis. 3 out of 5. What if I told you that the Simpsons are a black family? Yep, you're right. You'd probably call me an SJW cuck, and probably a little bit deserved. But the amount of intelligent people who have honestly applied themselves to the idea that the Simpsons represent an African American family is insane. The theory goes that Matt Groening, known counterculture weirdo, wanted to go further than making an adult sitcom. The Simpsons is a show that represents the American family in a non-conventional way.
Going to keep on trying to strengthen the American family to make American families a lot more like the Waltons and a lot less like the Simpsons. Huh?
Hey, we're just like the Waltons. We're praying for an end to the Depression too.
The Simpsons is a cynical counterculture approach to the domestic nuclear household. But which one? What is our default? Any questions? Yeah, okay, there's lots of flaws in it, just one at a time. Apart from the fact that it doesn't actually exist, The Simpsons' ancestral history is very hard to pin down. Not only is it made intentionally vague, but it's also subject to change. The nationalities are all over the place and often contradict each other. The Simpsons have been French, Jewish, Dutch, Southern, whilst operating with an Old English surname. So I'm not even going to try pin that one down, even if it was important to designate a race to a fictional family. My questions: how was this never mentioned? Why does it not affect episodes like Homer Gets a Gun? There are so many episodes based on the idea that Homer has unadulterated American privileges. More often than not, that's the punchline. And most importantly, what does that make Dr. Hibbert? Or Lou? Or Carl? The Simpsons were made yellow famously because they would catch the attention of people flicking through channels. But early on, Waylon Smithers was originally black. Here are the two Lou's. When it came to race, classic Simpsons was a deconstruction of the American experience, sure, but it also never really concerned itself with race relation jokes. I think the subject matter has been brought up exceedingly briefly for a show with so few ideas left. I'm not talking about Modern Simpsons. Modern Simpsons has proved that it doesn't have the balls, teeth, or self-awareness to participate in cultural conversations. And even in the older seasons, race is not really touched on. It's vague, inconsistent, or just straight irrelevant. Which makes me think, if Groening really designed this the 1990s countercultural political statement, where is the payoff? TV has never been more progressive, and on the show's 30th season, you feel like this reveal would have been done by now. The spokesperson of this theory, Lorraine de Graffenright, claims that the Simpson family actually don't exhibit any traits of whiteness, saying that it actually explains Bart's coolness, Lisa's obsession with jazz, and Marge's crazy hair, as well as Homer's, yeah, that's her words, not mine. Hey, let's not pretend like Simpsons was like the most politically correct show in existence. It was smart, but it depended on stereotypes. Everyone gets roasted via caricature. But to get a more balanced opinion, I've gone over to the good folks at, White Pride WorldNet. Okay, let's see their input on the subject. I somehow tuned in the other night and was disgusted with all the liberal... I'm not saying that. Well said. Jews are out of place in an Aryan society that has not been corrupted. Oof, tough crowd. This explains why Homer is so stupid, Bart is a delinquent, why Lisa loves jazz so much, and Marge's hair. Wow, that one was only 50% racist. Marge is still white, but now she is a race traitor. Yet one of them raises a good point. In a previous episode, Lisa has to research her family ancestral history. Once she finds out there's nothing interesting there, she invents a fictional version of her own history. And yet, in The Color Yellow, Season 21, Episode 13, Lisa traces her family tree again and finds that the Simpsons are 1/64th black. Ruh-roh, rumbled, or as we like to say here, debunked. The Simpsons have African American descent. Oh no, oh god, they're gonna hate this over on White Pride WorldNet. So, that's it settled then. No, because Simpsons doesn't really have canon. How could there be for a show running this long that rewrites its own internal history so often? Marge and Homer have now met in 3 different decades with 5 different origin stories. The reasoning is all over the board, but it does raise a very interesting question about who we perceive as the default in fiction. It's a fun thought experiment that nobody should take too seriously. I'm gonna give this a nice impartial 2.5 out of 5. I don't do decimals in this yet. I just want to show how fucking neutral I am. And we're done. 4 more in the bag. The fan theories never run out. The internet can always generate more abstract craziness. I love it. See you next time in 5 months.